Welcome. This is Faith and Good Courage. It's Season 1, Episode 1. Now, this season is entitled The Sacred in the Ordinary. Now, just as kind of an idea of what we'll be doing from this point forward, each season of Faith and Good Courage is made up of 8 interwoven stories. Little vignettes that stand out on their own, but also quietly build towards something deeper. Now, by the final episode, it all comes together. Now, you're in the middle of something with meaning. You found a little virtual roadside diner of stories. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. And if the road brings you back, there's always coffee and always room at the table. So I keep an old road map in my glove box. It's a real one, paper. You know, the kind that folds so badly it never quite returns to its original shape? It's sun-faded, water-stained, and, it's marked with circles from pens I don't even remember holding. I don't use it much. Most of the roads I drive aren't even listed on it anymore. But I keep it, because sometimes on a long enough road, you need something to hold you, and it reminds you, where you've been. Now, there's a stretch of highway east of Winslow. It's flat, endless, the kind of road that makes you forget your own name if you stare at it for too long. Well, that's where I pulled over. Not because I needed to, but because something in my chest whispered, this is the place. There's a mile marker there once. You could tell by the leftover bolts and the rusted steel post still sticking out from the ground. Number was long gone, nothing to orient you at all, just emptiness where identity used to be. And I realized that's how some seasons of life feel, like the sign fell off and nobody noticed. But even then, you're still on the road. You haven't stopped mattering just because the world stopped labeling where you were. So he was sitting there like he had been planted by the wind, next to a fuel pump that hadn't poured gas since the 1980s. Still work, I asked? I was kind of half serious. Well, he wiped off the handle with an old rag and he said, not in the ways you mean. He said his name was Luke, but something about him felt a little bit older than a Luke, like he had been part of a landscape a long, long time ago. He said people show up here thinking they need fuel, but what they really are, they're just tired. Then he pointed behind me to the open land and he added, you can't outrun yourself out here. We didn't talk much after that. We really didn't need to. You see, sometimes silence is the truest form of a welcome. Well, night fell slow near Peach Springs on Route 66. I parked at a turnout that kind of overlooked the canyon carved by centuries of surrender. No signs, no fences, just presence. The stars really didn't have any urgency. The moon, it was doing its best to peek itself around some clouds. And I was just sitting there in that in-between. That's when I heard it. Not a voice, not exactly, but something. A memory, a murmur. Something like peace that didn't ask for permission. And in that stillness, I remembered something I had actually forgotten. You see, the journey doesn't always make sense in the moment. But that doesn't mean it's not sacred. My closing reflection on this story, I still keep that road map in my glove box. Not because I needed it to navigate, but because I need it to remember. It reminds me that even when the road feels wrong or pointless or brutal, I'm not lost, I'm just between pages. The map hasn't failed me, I just haven't reached the part where everything makes sense yet. Hey, be kind to your fellow travelers. The next time you pass someone sitting alone at the counter, at the crossroads, or somewhere just shy of where they had hoped they'd be, give them a smile. Offer a little grace. Be the stranger they remember for the right reasons. We are all fellow travelers out here, and well, none of us walk this stretch of road alone. As a reminder, fuel, coffee, and kindness is what's going to keep this ride going. If you'd like to give a little something, a gallon of gas, a cup of coffee, or maybe a slice of pie, the hat's open at Venmo. You'll find me at Faith and Good Courage. That's at Faith and Good Courage. No strings, a soft ask, and a very big thank you. So I'll see you next week, and until then, I want you to travel well, my friends. Have faith and good courage.